Okay, and he got off with 180 days in a detention center.
He'll have to do 180 days in the detention center, but if he messes up, he could get the 3 years or more.
How do you feel about that sentence?
I think it shows that police officers who commit crime go to prison.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and you said that police officers, when it comes to police officers, they have to uphold, a certain amount of trust to the community. And obviously, after the sentencing, he didn't. But when it comes to the community, what do you think that they'll feel from this sentencing, moving forward with the Macon Police Department?
Although the judge did not impose the full amount that I asked for, he sent a strong message that police officers who break the law are going to serve time. And as long as I'm DA, when police officers commit crime, I'm going to be asking for time.
Do you think this will help or hinder the public's perception of law enforcement in the city?
I think they'll see that everybody's accountable and everybody's going to be held to a tough standard, particularly those who carry a badge. If you carry a badge and you violate the law, you will do time.
So what is the full, I think wasn't able to do everything else, I was to pay a $1,000 fine and do 250 hours of community service. Is there anything else he had to do besides that,
There was a Fourth Amendment waiver he has agreed to.
What does that mean?
It means that he has to allow searches of his home, of his person, of his belongings at any time.
And then he has to also give a specimen for DNA in the future?
Yes.
And this doesn't have to be without notice, right? He doesn't.
No, it has to be any time the the probation officers ask for it.
Is that just for his probation, or is that for life?
That's during his probation.
Okay. Anything else besides those? Besides the fine, the detention time, and the probation, and the waivers?
That's everything I have. Am I leaving anything off? So he's going to be subject to certain procedures for having his probation revoked, but essentially that's it.
Okay.
How tough does it make your job and the job of those fellows who represent 300 or so cops in this community that, I don't know, when they go back out there, everyone's going to say, well, you just get a slap on the wrist if you're a cop. And the judge said otherwise. He said, no, if you weren't a cop, you'd be going home today.
This is true.
But it is, I don't know, when you first look at this, you don't think it's that big of a breach, but then you realize, this guy's taking a couple of guns that, right.
It's never good
Right.
when a cop steals guns. And obviously it makes it harder for us to do our job if the public believes that cops can't be trusted. And I think it's important to note the presence of that many police officers because they wanted to see justice done too. And I think it was very clear what they wanted to happen. They weren't here in support of Mr. Graves. They were here in support of justice.
You talked about earlier when you outlined what happened in this thing. So this came up voluntarily while Internal Investigations was doing an investigation on the Troy Guidry and John Wantz? I
don't know how voluntary it is when you're called in and questions about whether or not you've broken the law.
But that's how it came about.
It came out when he brought in. He didn't know what they knew. Oh. And keep in mind there were other officers saying, hey, there's this time when we were out and Graves said, hey, no one will ever know. So he didn't know whether or not it was going to come out, when it would come out, and apparently he thought it was in his best interest to go ahead and talk then.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to say about the case, about the sentence or anything?
Just making it clear when cops break the law, they're going to do time.
Thank you.